Making the World Safe for Capitalism, How Iraq Threatened the US Economic Empire and Had to be Destroyed, by Christopher Doran, critically examines US foreign policy, particularly the US's economic motivations behind the Iraq War of 2003. Doran argues that the invasion was not primarily about weapons of mass destruction or about spreading democracy, but rather about safeguarding the US's economic empire, with a particular emphasis on the role of the petrodollar system in maintaining US global dominance. Doran's central argument is that the Iraq War was fundamentally about maintaining the US's dollar dominance in the global economy, particularly through the petrodollar system. This petrodollar system, which emerged after the collapse of the Bretton Woods Agreement in the 1970s, ties the value of the US dollar to global oil transactions. By ensuring that oil is traded in dollars and only dollars, the US secures a constant, artificially high demand for its own currency, allowing it to run substantial trade deficits and sustain its economic power. The petrodollar system requires countries to hold significant reserves of US dollars to purchase oil, effectively creating a global demand for the dollar that otherwise would not exist. This demand allows the US to print money and fund its own deficits without facing the usual economic consequences of inflation or devaluation that other countries would encounter. In this context, any threat to the petrodollar system is a direct threat to US hegemony. The Iraq threat, changing the petrodollar system. Doran discusses how Iraq, under Saddam Hussein, posed a unique threat to this system. In the year 2000, Iraq began selling its oil in euros rather than in dollars, a move that directly challenged the petrodollar system and, by extension, US economic dominance. This decision had the potential to undermine the dollar's position as the world's reserve currency and encourage other oil-exporting countries to follow suit, which would drastically reduce global demand for dollars and weaken the US's economic influence. By switching its oil transactions from dollars to euros, Iraq was effectively challenging the financial underpinning of US global power. If other nations, particularly in the Middle East, had adopted a similar policy, it could have led to a massive shift in the global financial landscape, significantly reducing the demand for dollars and undermining the US economy. The US's response to Iraq's decision to trade oil in euros can be seen as a form of economic warfare, aimed at preventing the erosion of the petrodollar system. The invasion of Iraq was meant to reassert control over its oil resources and ensure that oil continued to be traded in dollars, thereby maintaining the status quo of US economic dominance. Economic imperialism and control over global markets. Doran's analysis aligns with the concept of economic imperialism, where powerful states use economic, political, and military means to maintain and enhance their influence over global markets. The Iraq War is a clear example of how military power is deployed to protect economic interests, particularly the petrodollar system, which is a cornerstone of US economic policy. The invasion of Iraq allowed the US to control Iraq's oil reserves, ensuring that oil production remained within the framework of the petrodollar system. This control was more about than just securing energy supplies. It was about maintaining economic leverage over every other nation that depends on oil. By invading Iraq and reasserting control, the US sent a clear message to other oil-exporting countries that any attempt to challenge the petrodollar system would not be tolerated. This action was designed to prevent a domino effect, where other countries might also begin to trade oil in other currencies other than the dollar, thus undermining US economic dominance. Ideological narratives and justifications. Doran also explores the ideological justifications that were constructed to support the invasion of Iraq. The US government framed the war as a necessary response to the threat of weapons of mass destruction and as an effort to promote democracy in the Middle East. However, these narratives serve to obscure the underlying economic motivations, particularly the defense of the petrodollar system. The ideological framing of the Iraq War as a fight against terrorism and a mission to spread democracy was crucial in gaining public support. This narrative masked the true economic objectives of maintaining the system and protecting US financial interests, manufacturing consent for war every day. By focusing on ideological justifications, the US government was able to divert attention away from the economic imperatives driving the invasion. This strategy ensured that the public remained unaware of the threat to the petrodollar system and prevented widespread dissent against the economic motivations behind the war. The military-industrial complex and economic gains. Doran also highlights the role of the military-industrial complex in shaping US foreign policy. The Iraq War provided lucrative opportunities for corporations involved in defense contracting, reconstruction, and oil extraction. This relationship between state power and corporate interests demonstrates how economic imperatives drive military interventions. The Iraq War was not just a geopolitical maneuver, but also a means of economic enrichment for corporations. Defense contractors, oil companies, and private military firms all benefited from the invasion, illustrating how wars can be economically motivated enterprises that serve both state and corporate interest. Post-invasion, Iraq's economy was restructured to favour privatisation and deregulation, allowing Western corporations to dominate key, once public sectors. This economic restructuring ensured that Iraq remained integrated into the global capitalist economy and dependent on Western capital, further entrenching global economic inequalities. Contradictions and the consequences of economic imperialism. Doran's book also explores the contradictions inherent in global economic expansion. While the Iraq War was intended to secure US economic interests and protect the petrodollar system, it also led to unforeseen consequences, including regional instability, significant economic costs, and a damaged international reputation for the US. These outcomes illustrate the inherent contradictions of a system that relies on perpetual economic dominance and conflict. The Iraq War serves as a clear example of imperial overreach, where the pursuit of economic dominance through military means leads to long-term instability and resistance. The destabilization of Iraq and the broader Middle East region highlights the risks associated with using military force to maintain economic hegemony. The instability created by the Iraq War has led to various forms of resistance against US influence, both in Iraq and across the region. This resistance challenges the notion that economic imperialism can maintain long-term stability and highlights the potential for backlash against efforts to control global markets and resources. Making the World Safe for Capitalism provides a critical examination of how the petrodollar system underpins US economic dominance, and how threats to this system can drive foreign policy decisions. By focusing on the economic motivations behind the Iraq War, particularly the defense of the petrodollar, Doran's work sheds light on the intricate connections between economic policy, military power, and global politics. The book challenges readers to consider the deeper economic forces at play in international relations and how state power is used to protect and advance the interests of the global economic order. For those interested in understanding the true motivations behind global conflicts and the mechanisms of economic control, Making the World Safe for Capitalism offers a compelling and thought-provoking analysis. Whether you're new to these ideas or looking to deepen your understanding of economic imperialism and global power dynamics, the book provides valuable insights into the intersections of economics, state power, and international relations. We've been the Left Library, and this has been Political Theory Simplified. If you've enjoyed this overview, we do encourage you to read Making the World Safe for Capitalism by Christopher Doran to explore the economic underpinnings of the US foreign policy and its implications for global power. Thank you for watching, and let's continue to learn and to grow together.